Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Full Quarter Podcast. My name is Mpho and I've got Tim Del Lace here with me. Remember, this is South Africa's #1 cricket podcast. If you want to know what's happening in South African cricket, come chat to us. Come watch us. Listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and you can watch us on YouTube at One World Sports Radio. Also, follow us on Twitter at Full Quarter Pod. We're going to talk about the South Africans and the centuries that they're making in America over there, and Devil Brevis doing quite well there. We're going to have an MLC podcast later on sometime, so don't be worried. We're going to talk to Nate. We're going to talk about it. Well done to the Blue Ferrari for winning finally. But remember, they don't win here in South Africa. Only the Joburg team wins in South Africa. So, yeah. Outside of that, Tim, how are you doing?
All good, man. All good. Yeah.
The one
Can't
thing I want to
complain.
tell you, the one thing I want to say to you is, you didn't tell me that all the post-match presenters wear cowboy hats at the MLC. I would have been watching it early on.
Only when it was played in Texas, because it was played at two places. When it was played in
What did
Texas,
they wear in North Carolina?
they got out their hats. I think it was just normal stuff, you know.
Okay, cool.
But it was when they went to Texas. They went the full cowboy route.
And then also, just to let you know, we're filming this in the back end of the Ashes. Australia just lost 2 wickets for a few balls and runs. So Tim's happy because Stuart Broad's final day is going to be with a lot of fanfare. I'm a little sad because I want the Aussies to beat the English, but that's not for today. Today, we're bringing you another interview. The season is starting soon. The Easterns had a warm-up game today in the cold. I was like, dude, it's so windy outside there, and guys are playing. But anyway, we're going to bring you another conversation, this time with an up-and-coming star, someone who has his future all ahead of him. Someone who in his List A debut arrived at the stadium in his Cares school uniform. As you know, I'm not a fan of Cares, but I salute the fact that he arrived in a school uniform, because I was like, oh wow, this is how it is now. But anyway, Tim, who do we have today?
We have Liam Alder, a U19 cricketer, who's just made a move to the Warriors, which I'm sure we will get into at some stage.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Let's bring Liam on. Liam, as a Cares boy,
everyone? Yeah.
how are you doing? Did you watch the game against Jeppy this weekend?
Unfortunately, I didn't, but I know the result. So
Okay.
I'm not too happy about the result, but yeah.
It's all good. You beat us every year, so I'm not worried. Liam, thank you for joining us. Normally, when we start the show, Tim and I ask our guests, and this will be the first question: how did you get into cricket? And how did you get into cricket?
I think it was just like playing around with the mates and my brother's mates in the backyard. I think one of my brother's mates, his dad owned the club in the small town I grew up in, and then just from there played backyard cricket with him, and then went to Afrikaans primary school that the main sport was cricket. Mm-hmm. And from there I just got involved in that.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Then you went to Cares, and then they made you into the cricketer that you are today, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Tim.
No, I was just gonna ask. In a country that is obsessed with fast bowling and fast bowlers, was spin bowling always the route for you, or did that change as you grew older?
No, I first started off with a left arm seam bowler. Not the quickest oak in a lot, but then one of the coaches in the club just like one day says, Leon, let's try spin bowling for you, man. Maybe it will work for you. And then that was like grade 6, and then I turned into a spin bowler. I was first, then I went to a leg spinner, and then now I'm an off spinner.
Okay.
Interesting.
How did you find spin bowling? Because normally in schools, the spin bowler is either batting in the top 6 or 7.
Yeah.
and it's part time, and the wickets there at St John's and Cares are not necessarily spinner friendly. They're there to breed fast bowlers up here on the Highveld. How did you eke a way through into the teams as you were going up? I know your batting's pretty okay, pretty good, not okay, it's pretty good. But obviously, how did you allow captains to bowl you a lot more?
I think it's just the way I went about bowling spin. I think I didn't go as like a normal conventional off spinner, left arm off spinner. I think just working with plans and working with guys that have went to the like similar half out schools that are off spinners, like instead
Mm,
Bryce Parsons, chatting to him about making how do you make SI19 as an off spinner and a batsman or whatever. So I think if for us at the half out for like Cares, Netset Cares and St John's, where the
mm.
wickets are generally more pace friendly and batter friendly, where it's flat and fast. I think if you can do well as a spin bowler there, the coaches don't really have a choice but to give you a chance or just look at you.
Interesting, and that's good. That's good because, as I said earlier, we're a country in terms of where we are. We are still obsessed with the pace bowling, but that's good that is able to come through. And we spoke to Lazard a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about how many spin bowlers there are in domestic cricket at the moment. There's a lot of domestic cricket spin bowlers in the country, so that's a good thing. Um,
Yeah.
in terms of you going through the different systems, playing under 19 now, who would you say was your one or two sort of role models that has kept you and inspired you as a cricketer?
I think Bjorn, especially because I was working with him for the little bit I was with the Lions and in their squad. I think he helped me a bit because I trust him myself. We're both similar like a bit faster, top like a opening spin bowler in white ball cricket. And then I think Akshay Patel from India,
Oh,
quite like him a lot. And then Mitchell Santner from New Zealand.
okay. I'm a big fan of Aksha. I think Aksha's a very uh, good bowler, and I think his batting as well is underrated, which is always something. And I like how he uses his height
Yeah.
to get the ball through the air. Um, let's talk through when you realized you could make this as a career, right? So you're in high school or whatever it is. When was that earliest time where someone was like, you could play for the Proteas one day?
Sure. To be honest, if I can recall it, like let's say grade 9.
Mm-hmm.
When I made my debut for first team in grade 9, I thought to myself, was chatting to a few guys there. I made my debut. Luckily, with Brass was playing his last game for
Mm-hmm.
first team, and just chatting to him, and like I think just some of the coaches chatting to me, I was like, well, I might as well give this a go. I've got nothing to lose, so and luckily it's worked out for me.
No, that's really cool. Um, so when you made your debut for the Lions, how did you find out? How did you find that out?
Um, well, firstly, my that's the name phoned me Wendy, the
Mm-hmm.
Lions ex-head coach. Phoned me and I was busy eating balls with my brother at the moment. And then one of the other coaches saw my phone ring, obviously answered the phone, and I said, I'll call you back now because I was busy at the moment. And then I phoned Wendy back. I thought it was just like trying to find out what my plans are for the future or
Mm-hmm.
next year, if I'm staying with them or if I'm leaving. Then he told me, no, I'm not chatting about that yet, but I would like you to join our training session tomorrow. You might be playing your first game.
Wow. And who was the first person you told?
Uh, my brother. I first told my brother, and then I gave my mom a call, and then my dad a call. Luckily, where I was hitting balls was across the road from the house, so not too far away to tell the
Mm-hmm.
dad. But the first person I think it was my mother, and then my brother.
Okay,
Awesome,
that's so cool.
awesome. Um, as you said earlier, you were at the line set up, briefly before you've now moved to the Warriors. Just take us through that change room. Take us through that being around those sorts of players, Jordan Olafairs, Ryan Rickletons. Tell us what it's like to be with a team like that, which has had a lot of success over the last few years.
It's quite chill for me. I think I'm very not a loudspeaker. Like I do chats. I'm not too scared of people that are maybe let's say more important or famous than me. But I think they're very welcoming into the team. Doesn't matter how old you are. They believe the coach and they trust the coach that he's going to bring in the right people for the right moments, and that's going to benefit the team. But they're very welcoming, very chilled people, very down to earth people.
Did you know last year that you could make your debut?
I didn't know, but I had a few coaches saying, Liam, just be ready. There might be a few plans here going, well, word of mouth, they've heard something happening and that stuff. So I wasn't really taking it. I wasn't thinking about it too much. I was just telling myself, if it happens, it happens. If it's not, I'm still very young. I would like to make my debut when I'm still in school, but it's not the end of the world if it doesn't happen.
Okay. And what exam was it that you were writing? That you
It was my last Afrikaans. Transactional.
Did you finish it halfway through? You're like, look, I'm writing. I've just got a game. I don't have time.
So what happened was I actually arrived at school in the morning, and luckily our headmaster was standing there, and I went up to speak to him. I'm like, sorry, headmaster, I've got a problem here. I've got a game happening this afternoon in Centurion. What's the odds that I can write my exam, and when I'm done, can I leave? Luckily, he made a plan. I was in his good books, so that's the only way I could get out of it. So I finished, it was a 3-hour exam. I finished within an hour and a half because I am Afrikaans, so it's not too difficult for me. Finished with an hour and a half left, and then he walked into the hall and he said, come Liam, let's go. And he picked me up out of the hall. I think all my mates that night sent me a message like, what's happening? Why are you leaving the hall so early? Because I didn't know what was happening because I couldn't tell anybody, obviously.
They thought you were cheating.
Yeah. Luckily, no, he came to fetch me halfway through the exam. Luckily, I was finished. He came to pick me up. I said goodbye to him. I said goodbye to all my teachers. Thanks you for my high school career. And then my parents picked me up and off I went to the stadium.
And then you arriving there in your colored blazer, not knowing where to go.
It was quite difficult to get into the stadium because the security guards first thought I was pranking them because walking there, the school uniform and my cricket kit, they didn't know I'm actually playing for the Lions. So I had to make a few phone calls to try getting to the stadium.
Okay, no, that's amazing. And when you're on the field with the guys, right? You're now wearing the kit, and what's the vibe? And
it was quite all the players were hyped for me. They were all happy for me. I think for me, I think about a cricket game is each game is just a different game. It's just different clothes and a little bit more expectation from other people. So I didn't try to cheat it try to treat it as a new game. Because I know if I play it my way, I'll be fine. But the vibe on the field during warm up, it was quite chilled. I think a lot of hype for me. Players were very happy for me when we walked into the change room. But otherwise, luckily, I've chatted to the guys. I knew what they expected from me, so I wasn't really that nervous.
Okay, it's cool.
That's awesome. Let's fast forward a little bit then. In terms of where we are at the moment, you've just completed a tour with the under-19 side of Bangladesh. You were the leading wicket taker for South Africa, 11 wickets at just over 11. You got wickets in every game you played. I think you got 4 in your first game. The final. Just take us through that experience. What was that like playing overseas? Uh, in a very tightly contested series.
Yeah.
Just to take us through it.
Yeah, it's go on, say it's the easiest place to play, especially because of the wickets are totally different to what we have here in South Africa, and then the heat also plays a big factor. I think the one game we were playing in, I think it was like 42 degrees with 88% humidity or something stupid like that. So I think the heat also played a massive role, and also just the way they go around playing cricket. I think that's what I loved about the World Cup so much is you can meet different countries and see how they think about the game and how they play the game. I think Bangladesh did play very well at the back end of the series. Yeah, but it was a nice experience. I enjoyed it. Especially playing subcontinent as a spin bowler, that's your dream. Look, you're not going to get a better wicket for yourself there.
Exactly. And although we didn't see a lot of it, we did see the odd game. And I enjoyed your bowling. I mean, every time you came on, you caused them trouble. I remember there was a game when the game was pretty much done. South Africa would scored about just over 200, and they were coasting, and you came on and changed the game. I think it was the third game of the series. So I must say, from what I saw, you definitely bowled really well, and as you say, enjoy those conditions.
Yeah. It felt very good to me. I think we're going at an economy of just over round 3, taking 11 wickets in 4 games. I think you can't ask for more, especially when I was speaking to the head coach about going on tour with the boys, especially when they're trying to sort out their squad for the next World Cup that's coming up in Jan. Just what they expect of me and what they want from me. And I think what they expected from me, I delivered to my best abilities.
It looks like you have. This obviously upcoming World Cup is as well around the corner, but you were at the previous one.
Yeah.
And how was that? Obviously, I think that was the West Indies, so you also get different types of pitches on the different islands. And but how was that experience for you as a cricketer?
It was phenomenal. I think that's one of the best tours I've ever been on. I think it will be one in the top 5 tours I will be in my life. I think what the people did for us that side, the places we stayed at, the hotels we stayed at, the facilities they gave us was phenomenal. Pitches depends where you were. So we were our first one was St. Vincent. We played a 4-match series versus the West Indies before the World Cup even started to prepare us just to get to the climatize and that stuff. The one field we did play on, it's very dry, very spinny, more like subcontinent pitch. And then the stadium was more flat. So I don't think most of the stadiums played like South African wickets, very flat, pace friendly, batting friendly, definitely. A lot of high scoring games.
I think every single player that goes to the Caribbean, whether it's seniors or the 19s, always enjoys it.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever heard of like, you know what? I don't like the Caribbean. They can keep it. They can keep those beaches.
I'm sure you've heard the stories. Wait until you go there as a Protea. Good luck. All we're saying is we expect wickets. You can do everything else, but we expect wickets. If not, we will know what you did. But what? So, like, obviously, fast forwarding. Obviously, you're in Bangladesh now. What parts of your game are you working on right now?
At the moment, I'm trying to focus on red ball cricket. I think I'm happy with my game with white ball cricket. Not cutting out white ball bowling. And we're trying to work more on my red ball skills and just the consistency, the pace I should be bowling. And then obviously my batting, trying to get up there in the order, the batters. Try to become a full out and out all-rounder, not just a bowler that can bat a bit. I want to be a full out all-rounder. And then, just white ball, a little bit of white ball cricket here and there, but mostly it's red ball and then batting.
I can see you molding yourself around Bjornfontein. I can
Not
see a
Simon
lot of
Harmer?
no, I can see the Bjornfontein. A lot of similarities there.
Liam,
Um,
we have an inside joke
if
here. He
yeah,
likes Simon Harmer. He thinks Simon Harmer is the greatest spinner of all time, and I look at him like all the time. So yeah, at least he's picked someone else.
Yeah.
um, again, I suppose fast forward. So you've talked about the line setup and what it was like. Um, you've now moved. You've now
Yeah.
moved. You've now gone to the Warriors. Um, you're now working with Robbie P. Tell us how they came about and why. Why did you feel the time was right to make the move?
Um, well, firstly, I didn't get any offers from them.
Okay.
First got a offer from the Lions. I wasn't really happy with the offer, especially because I've been speaking to them for the past last few weeks of the season. I was chatting to them, seeing where I stand with them, and then out of the blue, my agent phoned me and said, "Listen, Warriors want to offer you something." So I said, "Okay, I'm happy. I'm not cutting out all my ties. I'll still look around. Doesn't mean I will move." And then I think the Lions couldn't match the Warriors offer, and for me, it wasn't about like the money worth. It's more about game time, especially because I'm still very young. And the players I saw the Lions sign extra 3 more spinners. I was like to myself, what's the odds that I'm actually going to get game time here? So I made the call to move to the Warriors, knowing that we're only 3 spinners now. Friendly conditions to a spin bowler. I think you'd love to bowl in P as a spin bowler, especially in those type of wickets. So I thought it's going to be a good challenge for me. And working with Robbie P, that was ex-Protea left-arm spin, I think could also benefit me a lot.
Yeah. No, I think we did a show around the off-season moves and what teams need to do, and we had penciled you in as the Lions starting spinner, or I had. But obviously, time happens and things
Yeah.
change, and I think we're going to miss having you. I think it's a massive loss. But Robbie P, he was on our show earlier. He was one of the first few guests, and he's an outstanding coach. You're going to learn a lot from him. And to a certain extent, do you have any goals for the season? Because I know it's game time, but
Yeah.
in your head, do you have anything that you'd like to prove to somebody, or not somebody, to the fans or CSA or whoever the coaches are, or a wicket target or anything for this new
No,
season?
not really. I don't really. Well, the one goal I do have is trying to hopefully be a part of the SA20. I think that's one of a big goal for me so far. But otherwise, not really. Just try to get game time, get games under my belt, get time for other coaches to see what I have and around the world or whatever. But not really. I don't expect myself to do too much. I'm very I don't expect a lot from myself. I think whatever happens. I'm really go with the flow person. But not only goal this season so far is for the SA20. That's my main goal.
Okay, yes, and I know there's like a rookie contract there, so
Yeah.
I was just gonna say there's a rookie contract, so that there's certainly a chance. Certainly a chance.
and there's a team
definitely.
there in the Eastern Cape that
Yeah.
traded for a certain Simon Harmer who might be needed in New Zealand at the end of the season. Who knows? But there's always a home for you at the Joburg Super Kings. Come back,
Yeah.
and have a good time
Yeah.
there. Do you have a preference for a team? Because I'm
No,
sure you've watched SA20.
no, not really.
Not really. Okay.
Nah,
Um,
I'd love to,
but-
Josie's always in the heart, so you can't get Josie out of me. I love Joburg.
Yeah. Wait until you go to Cape Town, and then you'll be like, oh, it's like
Nah.
nice like this.
I don't. Cape Town's not for me, eh?
Look, Newlands may not be great, but everything else outside of Newlands is amazing. Yeah. So, obviously it's game time. You made your first class debut for the Lions in that final game of the season last year.
Yeah.
How was the jump in performance in play from playing at even at an SA under 19 level to be playing at a first class list A level?
There's quite a big jump. If I'm a, I think the way the batsmen put bowlers under pressure, the way players think about their cricket and their game, how to improve the game, I think is a big jump. I think that's one thing that SR19 guys are trying to work out now. But Sue, the little bit I've seen from SR19, there's still a lot of work to be done. For me, there was quite a big jump, especially in terms of my bowling plans and how to set the batsman up or how to bowl to a different type of player. I think there's quite a big jump.
Yeah, that is to be expected, but that's a good thing, I guess, because you want to have the premier competition being quite difficult.
Yeah.
We love our spinners here. We love talking to spinners. We love a South African team that always picks a spinner. I myself would prefer a leg spinner if I was being perfectly honest. I love my leg spin. But in terms of spin bowling in South Africa, if there was one, what would you like to see done to make a spinner's life more easier in South African cricket?
I think more specialized spinners coach. I know for the SR19 we had Paul Adams with us on tour. Quite a nice guy to work with, very helpful. I think just more specialized spinners coach and more spin camps for the up and coming, let's say SR19 players or something. I think spin camps will benefit us a lot. Chatting to guys, trying to get them to expose them to that level before they even start playing at that level.
Yeah.
Agreed. No, I agree. It certainly helps.
It does, and I think it's the start, and I know that the seniors had a spin camp, and then you were busy in Bangladesh, which I think is the best trial by fire that you needed, and I think you came out there looking very good. So that's a feather in your cap there. I've probably got one more left, and this is a nice one, it's a fun one. When you got that wicket of Aiden Markram and the ball came back to you, firstly, were you intending on bowling that ball? And secondly, do you thank your Uber reflexes that you clung onto that ball? Dear life.
Okay. I think my plans were right. Maybe the line of the delivery wasn't intended. I think it was a bit too straight, down leggish. But I think the pace I bowled at, I was happy with that. The length I bowled with was fine. I think the only thing, if I want to be really harsh on myself, that's maybe the line, a bit too straight. Yeah. But otherwise, I was happy with the ball. It was good enough for somebody.
I'll take that every day. I think you've got many spinners who'd be like, yeah, no, we'll take that. But yeah, no. So that's awesome. I love that.
What's in your mind's eye? You talked about making an impact as an all-round cricketer.
Yeah.
Like you obviously your spin bowling is your focus, but you want to make contributions with the bat, and obviously that will obviously get you seen by important people. Where do you see yourself batting? Where would you, if you had to choose, where would you like to bat?
7, 8. I think lower middle order. I think that is.
Ooh, he's back. Don't worry. All good. Sorry, Liam, we lost you for a bit there. Can you hear us?
Liam, we can
And
see you, but we can't hear you.
his sound's gone. But might have to just refresh. Liam, can you hear us? No. It may have gone into some like AirPods or something, some Bluetooth, whatever it is. I don't know. Okay. If Liam, I think just refresh and start again, and then we'll bring you back in quickly. We'll just send him back a little bit. Let him
Yep.
refresh. We're nearly done. We're at the actually.
We are nearly done.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try bring him back again. Liam, can you hear us now? We just lost your mic, so I don't know. No, we can't hear you, unfortunately. Yeah, so he's come off. He'll come back in. Yeah. Yeah, man, I love that conversation. I think I've got probably one more, is just his ambitions and seeing how he is thinking about his future. But so far, yeah, I'm impressed. Tim?
I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed. I've been impressed with the ball, from the debut with Lions. I was impressed with his performances inside the 19s, and I think this boy's got a big future ahead of him. I really do.
Hello,
Liam?
can you guys hear me?
There we go.
Yes.
So I don't know what happened there.
Yes.
The screen just went blank for a minute there.
Okay. No,
No
it's
worries.
good. The perks of
It's all
live
good, man.
podcasting. This is what happens. We're used to this. Tim left me for like 5 minutes at one time, and I had to talk about. I don't know what I was talking about. I was like, no, come back in. You were busy with Tim's question.
Yeah.
Yeah. About your betting. Yeah.
I think
Nice.
7-8. I'm happy with that. I've been working on batting around there, my plans, and I'll go around doing my business in that middle period or at the back end. I think I'm a very aggressive player, a batsman. So I think that role will suit me quite well.
Remember, Steve Smith started at 7 and 8.
Yeah.
And then somehow some bug bit him. I think it was a spider. And then he became one of the best.
And he was a spinner. He was picked as a spinner.
Yes. So I don't know. Maybe yeah, look, you could become Steve Smith, very erratic in his batting, but we will thank you in the runs. We will thank you for the runs. So well, I think the last one for me, and it's a bit of a serious one. I know everyone's probably going to say you're going to be a pro and everything else, and your future is bright and everything else. But from your perspective, right, how are you handling that? Because it must be tough for a 19-year-old to be told all of these things and then, being thrust into this. And how are you? Do you have any plans about handling pressure, or like what do you tell yourself?
I think I've chatted to my brother quite a lot. I think me and him are very close. I think we all know what people expect of me and what I expect of myself. But the way I'm handling it, I think just chatting to friends, get away from cricket. I think I do that quite well, like going hunting or doing something with friends outside of cricket or outside of sports in general. But I think otherwise I don't try to take it too serious when somebody tells me that. I think I'll maybe laugh it off sometimes. Maybe it's not the greatest way to do it. But as far as I think it's helped me a lot, like laughing at when people try and make a joke with me. It's like, yeah, gee, we got a pro this player, yeah, laugh at them, make it if it's like a joke or something. But otherwise, it doesn't faze me too much yet. I think as soon as I know I'm closer to getting there, I think it will surely like affect me somehow, somewhere.
Strip Wood said something interesting I was listening to this afternoon. He was talking about a warrior mode where he like locks in and focuses at the task at hand. Do you have something like that? Do you have any mental exercise that you do in a game to make sure you focus? Because obviously cricket's like hours and hours out there in the field, and like, do you have anything? Or
to be funny, there's a sticker behind my bat when I bat. So I tell myself, don't take myself too seriously. That's when I'm going to enjoy the game. That's when I've got like the best. I'm the best Liam Alder. So I've got a sticker at the back of my bat. All of my stickers I've stuck skew on purposely. So when I know that like there's a little bit of heat in the moment or I'm getting a bit frustrated, I just look at the sticker and I tell myself, okay, listen, don't take yourself too seriously. When I'm bowling, not really. I think I do a lot of clicking with my fingers. Like the rhythm of bowling, I click in, or I just chat to people, make a few jokes here and then. I don't really I'm not really the type of person that like will stay in the zone for too long. I think I'm in and out that zone the whole time. I think otherwise my game's gonna go on. I don't have the mental capacity yet to stay in the zone for 7 hours on once. I think for me, it's working right now is going in the zone, staying there, focusing for like, let's say 5 hours I'm bowling, and then I'm out there, and then I'm on a relax, still focused, but I'm relaxing in a sense.
Okay. When you said yes, Tim.
I was just gonna say all the top players talk about the importance of switching off. They all talk about it, whether it's a batsman or a bowler. That having the ability to switch off in that moment is very important. It's very important.
Yeah. When you said skew stickers, I was thinking maybe it's like a case thing, but I'll let it be.
It's just my sponsor sticker that I stuck to the brand sticker is so great. So it's a small sticker.
Okay. Oh, good. I love it. Is there a stadium in the world that you'd like to play in?
Sure. The home of cricket, obviously.
Oh, yes.
Lords.
They might drop you there because England likes to go with an all-pace attack.
Yeah. The Wacker, obviously.
Ooh, yes.
And then Eden Gardens.
And there you're probably going to take like 7 wickets, and we're all going to be sitting there going,
I wish. I wish that happens.
Yeah, just pray India doesn't bat first, because they have some sort of weird situation with batting first in India. But Liam, the future's bright for you. I know you hear that all the time, but thank you very much for joining.
Thank you very much.
Wish you all the best. We'll be watching you this season a little bit more closely. Hoping Robbie P, puts everything in a nice little package for you, and you get as many games as possible. I think as a 19-year-old coming into cricket, it's hard enough getting game time and doing well, handling all the pressure. But I think you made the right choice going to the Warriors, even though it hurts me a lot. And enjoy Durban. When you go to Kingsmead, we might have to call you to just ask you how you found it, because there's something going on there with those pitches that it makes it resemble it like it's a little bit of India. So, but yeah, have a great time. All the best. And let me let you know, on this podcast, everyone who's come on this podcast has become a pro tier.
Okay, thanks. Hopefully,
we had Sadal Arvia.
That job.
Yes, we had Sadal Arvia. He was deputizing for Dean. He was like, the only thing I'll get in is if there's an injury. And then somehow injuries happen. We also had Senran Mutasami late last year. He didn't even think he was in the radar. Made it in. So, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so, and all the best for the SA20. You'll get it. It will be interesting to see what team you get.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll give you. But yeah, let's not keep you too long. But thank you very much. And God bless. And yeah, have a good one. And I'll call you when St. John's beats Cares. It might be never, but
I'm not getting a phone call.
Yeah, sure. Have a good time. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Cheers, Liam. Thanks very much.
Bye. That was awesome, Tim. You keep on bringing me Cares boys, but it's fine. It's okay. My school doesn't do much, but do academics. But yeah, look, Tim. We'll have our next episode soon. And yeah, there's lots to talk about in cricket. There's trades to talk about. We're not going to discuss the Sarel Advia. No, not Sarel Advia. No. John Smuts and Simon Harmer trade. Waiting for the end of the month, which is today, for all the trades to come in. I think it'll just be one. And then we'll talk about them and that because, yeah, I think some team got fleeced. But we'll talk about it.
Yes.
And yeah, outside of that, Tim, enjoy the rest of the Ashes. If there is Ashes after this, you're probably going to watch this off, so you know what's going on as the viewer and the listener. We are still living in this world, this weird podcasting world where we're talking while things are going live, and only will know the results. So well done, Australia, on winning the Ashes. And Tim, on your side? Yes, well done to England on drawing the series. So you've got two outcomes. Oh, there's a third where they draw the game and Australia still wins. So it's on my side. But we'll talk about that and more next week. So please do join us. Outside of that, have a great cricketing week and le sale kakahiso.